Hello and welcome to Maqam Lessons. Today we're going to be learning about Jins Husayni, and actually we're going to be learning about an issue that is a little bit controversial and confusing in Maqam theory. So we need to do a little bit of a review of what is a tonic and what are scale degrees. I know I've dealt with those in a lot of other videos in great detail, but I know some of you like to jump in the middle. So let's start by understanding what is a tonic. I'm going to go back to the phrase that I opened with. Can you sing the note that you feel is the resolution point of the melody? I'll play it again. And I want you to, when I'm done, sing that note that you feel resolved with. Now I'm hoping you sang this note, that you feel the melody resolves there. That's what we would call the tonic. And to get a real sense that this really is the tonic, we can end on a different note. So for example, where do you feel that note wants to go? Do you feel the tension pulling it up? That indicates that this note is the tonic, and this is a note that has tension in it. Now what if I do this? We're really starting to hear this as a tonic. And I end on that note. Does this feel like it's stable or like it wants to move on? Hopefully not. By this point in the melody, you're hearing this wants to resolve also. And we feel that that's finally resolved this note. So this is a note of tension. Now, I've set that up for you, obviously, by playing a lot of melody to draw you to this note. But I started, and if you go back to the beginning of the video or when I repeated the phrase, I started, instead of just on this note, I did this. I went to that second note above the tonic note. This is our tonic, and I'm going to call the tonic 1. I went 1, 2, same as if I said do, re, or in this case D, E, with D as being the key of the scale. I went up to the E. I went up to the second note, and I started my melody there. But that doesn't mean that note is the tonic. Now, after hearing this a bunch of times, you will start to hear this as moving away from the tonic, resolving there, unresolved. Okay, so now we are in Jins Nahawand, on that key. But if you go back to the Jins Nahawand video, and you look at one of the examples I used to help you get into the Jins, we were using a phrase from Kulthum's Alf Layla wa Layla. And she improvises at the beginning in Ya Habibi. And you notice she starts on this second note. Ya Habibi, Ya Habibi. 2, 3, 4, 3, 2, 1. You hear that resolution? 2 is unresolved. 2, 3, 4, 3, 2, 1. So just because we start on that second note, or we emphasize it at the beginning, doesn't mean that that second note is the tonic. It's a note of tension that needs to resolve down to the actual tonic. So what does that mean? That means that we're dealing right now, no matter what happens melodically, with Jins Nahawand on this key. And if I end a phrase on this note, that doesn't mean I've suddenly modulated or moved to Kurd on this note. Right? If you want to go back and compare Jins Kurd, you should still hear this as unresolved and not as a tonic. You hear it waiting. And there you hear the resolution. Does that make sense? If I was really doing kurd on this note, and this is going to get a little bit confusing because if I really change the tonic feeling, it's going to throw us off, but I'm going to try anyway. Now I'm starting to feel that this is our tonic and this note is the note underneath the tonic. So if I'm really in kurd, that's kurd on this note. Same notes as the nahawand on this tonic. But when I end on this note, we feel now that it's unresolved and it wants to go up. Yanin, sing with me. Yanin, yanin, yanin. And that's making that the kurd tonic. But what we were doing before was making this the second degree above nahawand. Ya habibi. I need to get a little bit more into it because the kurd was pulling my ear and probably pulling your ear, we were feeling like this was a tonic momentarily. My point with this whole exercise is to understand that just because you land on a note doesn't mean it becomes a tonic. Just because you end a melody on a note or start a melody on a note doesn't mean it's the tonic. Maqam, and in fact all modal music, has a certain amount of play with tension. When you listen to melodies, you notice they don't end always on the final note of the scale, the bottom note of the scale. They'll end on the second scale degree or the third scale degree, or they'll end on the fifth or the fourth on the note we call the ghammaz, the alternate note. And so it's important when you're listening to really hear the tonic. So you can tell the difference between a melody in kurd on this note versus an unresolved melody in nahawand on this note. And they use the same scale degrees. I'm trying to bring back this tonic. I'm not going to go back to that kurd. Now, let's do the same thing in rust. So we were in nahawand, Jins Husayni. On this tonic, if I play rust on the same tonic, it'll sound like this. Let's sing a few phrases together in rust. Repeat after me. Yaleini, yaleini, yalein, yaleini, yaleini, yalein, yalil, yalin, yanin, yanin. Now you should start to hear this as the rust tonic. If I sing yaleini, yaleini, and I go up 1, 4, 3, 2, essentially 1, 2. This doesn't mean I've moved to bayati on this note. No, this is unresolved. Yaleini, and you'll hear this a lot in improvisations. So let's actually sing through it. We might sing yaleini, yalein, yaleini, yalein. So we go to the unresolved note and then we resolve it down to the tonic, just as if we went yanini, yanin, yanini, yanin, yeah. Feels waiting, right? It's unresolved. Yeah. We want it to resolve. ya lin, ya lin. Unresolved, resolved in rust, right? We're not hearing bayati on this note. And I'm not going to play it because then that'll take our ears away from it. We're hearing an unresolved second scale degree. So for example, right? Suddenly did we move to Jins Bayati on this tonic? No. This is still Jins Rust. We're just ending a phrase on the second note. Unresolved. And then the second half. Right? Yalini, yalin, yalini, yalin, yalini, yalini. That's the resolution. So we have the same phenomenon. In Nahawand, you don't get coded on the second scale degree. You have an unresolved second scale degree. In Rust, you don't get bayati on the second scale degree. You have an unresolved second scale degree in Rust. And there's a wonderful Saidi song that I love that really sits on this note. Bitnadini tanile winti aiza minni winti khalas habbiti ghairi winti khalas habbiti ghairi it's starting on the unresolved second scale degree and then coming down to the Rust tonic. Okay, I'm going to give you a third example of where this happens, and this is all relevant to Jins Husayni. We have nikris. Now again, all of the ajnas that I'm mentioning here, we mentioned Rust, Nahawand, Bayati, and Kurd. And I've made lessons for all of those. Now we're going to compare Nikriz and Hijaz. And there are lessons for each of those. So if you haven't gone to those lessons, you'll want to go there to get the melodic vocabulary for each of these ajnas. That will make them more clear and distinct for you. So if I have Nikriz on this tonic, it sounds like this. وعامل في حبك ايه ده مستحيل قلبي يميل Nikriz, let's sing يا لين يا لين يا لين يا لين يا لين. I'm going to that second scale degree, but that doesn't mean that this is the final note. You can hear that this wants to go. You hear the unresolved nature of this. Yeah, it's not finished. Yeah, nin. Yeah, lin. Yeah, lin. Yeah, yeah, lin. So we don't have Hijaz on this note. We have Nikriz on this tonic. I could, if I spent time in it, move to this note and make this a Hijaz using the same notes, the same intervals, or almost the same intervals. That's another subject. But in any case, what we're hearing is Nikriz on this tonic, not Hijaz on this tonic, because this is not the tonic, this is the second scale degree, and it resolves down there. So now what does this have to do with Jins Husayni? Well, Jins Husayni is the same thing, it's just somewhere else relative to the final Maqam resolution. So let's go back to the Nahawand example. Nahawand, 1, 2, 3, 4, 3, 2, 1, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now, just to confuse you, but hopefully to enlighten you in the future, I'm going to call this 4. And you're going to see why in a minute. So we're going to say this is Nahawand on 4. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4. Repeat with me. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4. And you're still hearing this as a Nahawand tonic. Yanini, yanin, yanini, yanin. 4, 6, 5, 4, 7, 6, 5, 4. 4, 6, 5, 4, 7, 6, 5, 4, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 3, 2, 1. So we're actually in Bayati on this key, but we're momentarily in Nahawand on this key. So if you go to the Maqam Bayati lesson, you'll see that the Ghammaz for Bayati is on the 4th scale degree. 1, 2, 3, 4. This is our Jins Bayati. But if we start here, and we go, this is 4, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's count up so we're clear. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5, 4. Do you hear that the 5 is the unstable one and the 4 is the stable one? That is Husayni. Husayni in traditional Maqam theory has been confused with Bayati or Kurd on 5 above Bayati, but it's actually not. This is an unresolved 5th scale degree that needs to resolve 5, 4, before resolving 3, 2, 1. So this is Jins Husayni. We're going to sing, there's actually a couple different versions of it, which I'll elaborate on, but this is Jins Husayni in the context of Nahawand on 4 of Bayati. Yalin, 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 yalin. This is the final resolution. And every time we go here, we're waiting to come down there and then resolve down. Let me use the scale degree numbers. 4, 5, 5, 5, 4, 5, 5, 5, 7, 6, 5, 4, 7, 6, 5, 4. You hear that resolution? 4, 5, 7, 6, 5, 4. 3, 4, 5, 3, 4, 5. So what's happening when we go to 5? We're building tension. It's important to the identity of the Maqam that this is tension. This is not a tonic note that has Kurd on it. No, this is a note that is creating all of this, oh my God, what's going to happen next? It's the drama, the tension of a suspended resolution. 3, 4, 5. What's going to happen next? 3, 4, 5. What's going to happen next? Resolve to 4. Resolve to 4. 3, 4, 5. Unresolved. 3, 4, 5. Unresolved. 6, 5, 4. 6, 5, 4. 3, 2, 1. Now, the same thing can happen in Maqam Kurd or Maqam Hijaz. I'm going to do the same thing, but in those other resolutions. You're going to see that we're dealing in all cases with this 4-5, Nahawand on 4, unstable 5th scale degree, back to 4-3-2-1, resolving in Hijaz. So here is Husayni, Jins Husayni in the context of Maqam Hijaz. Yaleini yanin, yaleini yanin, yalin, yalin, yanin, yalin, yanini, yalini. So, Maqam Hijaz on A does not have Kurd on E, it has Nahawand on D on 4, with an unstable E that wants to resolve down. Let me do that with scale degree numbers. 4, 5, 5, 5, 4, 5, 5, 5, 5, 6, 7, 6, 5, 4, 5, 6, 7, 6, 5, 4. You hear the resolution. 3, 2, 1, 3, 2, 1, 3, 4, 5, 3, 4, 5, 7, 6, 5, 7, 6, 5, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4. That 4 resolves the tension of 5, but it's not finished because it's really 4, 3, 2, 1, Hijaz. Same thing in Maqam Kurd. 4, 5, 5, 5, 4, 5, 5, 5, 7, 6, 5, 4, 7, 6, 5, 4, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 4, 5, 3, 3, 4, 5, 3, 2, 3, 4, 2, 2, 3, 4, 2, 1, 2, 3, 2, 1, 1, 2, 3, 2, 1. So when I jump up to 5, 1, 5, you hear that it's waiting to resolve down. 5, where does it want to go? Sing it. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I could spend a lot of time on that 5. I can extend it. I can emphasize it. But I never tonicize it because I want it to stay unstable. There's the resolution. Now let's see the same thing, not in the context of Nahawand on 4, in the context of Rust on 4, which we also have in Maqam Hijaz, in Maqam Bayati, in Maqam Kurd. And often what will happen, and let me do it to take you there, is that we'll start with a Husayni that is in Nahawand and we'll move to the Rust. So let's do that for a moment. Yaleini yanin, yaleini yanin, yalin, 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 yalin. So we went 4, 5, 4, 5, 6, 7, 6, 5, 4. So unstable resolution to Rust on this tonic. Yadit, 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 yadit. Ending on the unstable note. Yadit, 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 yadit. Unstable note. Rust on this tonic. Ending on the 2nd scale degree. Bit nadini tanile. Yadit, 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 yadit. Nikri is also on the same tonic. Yadit, yadit, ni umri mahabbit. So we had the unstable 5th scale degree, which is the 2nd scale degree of Rust on 4, before eventually resolving down to Hijaz. Okay, so I realize that I'm now throwing a lot at you. We have the option for rust on 4, the option for Nakriz on 4, which I'm going to now get to more. So it's going to be even more complicated. But everything in Husayni is really just about 5 unresolved going down to 4, and then resolving down to 1 in either Bayati, Kurd, or Hijaz. So these melodies that I'm playing now, I've already played in the lessons for Maqam Kurd, in the lessons for Maqam Bayati, and in the lesson for Maqam Hijaz. I've often called them, oh, here we are in Jins Nakriz on 4, or this is Jins Nahawand on 4, or this is Jins Rust on 4. So if everything I'm saying to you now is like, whoa, what's going on? You need to go back to those 3 maqams, review them, and listen for this phenomenon of the unstable 5th scale degree resolving down to 4. Maybe it's in the context of Nahawand. Maybe it's in the context of Rust. Maybe it's in the context of Nakriz. But in all cases, it's an unstable 5 coming down to 4 before going down to 1. So really, the basic melody of Husayni is 5, 4, 1. Let's sing that. 5, 4, 1 is our tonic. 5 is unstable, it comes down to 4, and then goes down to 1. What 2 is, what 3 is, what 6 is, all are changeable depending on the maqam context. Are we maqam Kurd? Do we have the 2 and 3 of Kurd, Jins Kurd at the bottom? Or do we have the 3rd of Hijaz, etc.? So let's hear it in Nakriz. And again, I'm going to end Anaf Intizarak, the song that we analyzed in the Maqam Hijaz lesson, so definitely go there. Second verse of Anaf Intizarak. So we resolved. There we are, starting again on 5 with the intro. 5, 4. Second verse. Aizaraf letkun ghadban. So, let's listen to that again. Which is the unresolved and which is the resolved? Aizaraf is waiting for resolution. What do you want to know? Of course it's unresolved. I don't know. Aizaraf. I want to know, as it says in Arabic. Letkun ghadban. Are you mad? What do I want to know? Unresolved. Here's what I want to know. Are you angry? Let or is something bothering you? Is it working up? Unresolved. Al-bak insan. Is your heart thinking about someone else? And then خلتني من يأسي أقول unresolved الغيبة دي غيبة على طول. And then we're going to change. So this was Nahawand. We have on this tonic. And then we're going to get Rust. What فكر إلي جنيت من ذنبي سيرك ملقيت. So we have Rust. But always we're getting 5 Aizaraf. And sometimes Kulthum even does a little bit of an extended improvisation on this 5. It may sound like Hijaz. Aizaraf. Ya Layni. Sing Ya Layni. Ya Layni. Ya Layni. Ya Nain, Ya Naini, Ya Naini. You hear that resolution? So we don't have Hijaz on this note. We have Nakriz on this note, but we're emphasizing this note. As unresolved, Aizaraf. Ya Naini, Ya Naini, Ya Naini, Ya Naini, Ya Naini. I really made it feel like maybe we had Hijaz. And this is why understanding the broader context is important. Yeah, you can kind of pull that fifth scale degree and turn it into a Hijaz, or turn it into a Bayati, or turn it into a Kurd. But what's really there is the second scale degree above Nahawand or Rust or Nakris, which is what we started with. Let's see. So we gave you that example. We have Nakris, Rust, and Nahawand on this note, and the unstable fifth. So that's Jins Husayni. Now, Maqam Husayni, which I'm not really going to do in this lesson, is really a version of Maqam Bayati that starts with the Husayni Jins and resolves down to the Bayati. I'm going to give you a taste of it just to like really bring everything back down to the most simple format. So if I start Maqam Bayati like this, then I'm in Maqam Bayati. And then eventually I'll go to the Husayni melody. And here's a great example. In Nura Nura. Nura Nura, oh yeah, Nura. There was the Ben Nura. 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Ismik ala rasmik sura. Unstable 5. Ya Amara, ya Amora. 4, 3, 2, 1, 5. So in Nura Nura, those melodies are starting on 5, but the song started on 1. So this is a version of Bayati that uses the Husayni melody. But there are songs that just start on the 5. So that's what we're going to do now. We're going to realize we're in Bayati. So repeat after me. We're going to sing Jins Husayni, and we're just going to touch on a few of the other ajnas in Maqam Bayati so that you understand. Maqam Husayni is just a version of Bayati where we start on 5 and really spend a lot of time emphasizing it. Ya Layli, 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 ya Layli. Ya Nin, Ya Nin, Ya Lil, Ya Lil, Ya Nin, 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 Ya Lili, Ya Lili. You heard in those last phrases some rust on 4 with ending on 5 and some Nahawand. So go back if you want and listen, try to parse it out for yourself. The next place I might go might be to 6, Ajam on 6, which is part of Maqam Bayati. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Ya Nini, Ya Nini. So the 6 is a little bit stable. Ya Nini, Ya Nini, Ya Nin, Ya Nin. I'm ending on the unstable 5. Stable 6, unstable 5, pulling me down to Nahawand on 4 before going down 3, 2, 1. Yeah, Nain. So let me do that again. So what I'm about to do, just a repeat of what we just did, is Ajam on 6, going down to Husayni on 5, resolving down to Nahawand on 4, resolving down to Bayati. So let's do that sequence. Ya Naini, Ya Naini. Ya Layli, Ya Layli, Ya Nin, Ya Nin, Ya Layli, Ya Layli. 5, 4, 5, 5, 5 4 5. Ya nin, ya nin, ya nini, ya nini, ya nini, ya nini. A great example of this. Ya حلو يا مسلي يلي بنار حسيني on 5 والهجري كويني. Back to عجم on 3 4 5 6. يا حلو عجم يا مسلي حسيني يلي بنار. The nar, the fire of distance, nar al-hagr, the fire of your absence, right? It's unresolved. يلي بنار الهجر كويني املى المدام. Bring me the glass. Resolve to 4. يا جميل وسقيني يا عيني من كتر شوقي عليك ما بنام. يا حلو عجم on 6 6 8 7 6 7 6 5 3 4 5 6 5 4 3 2 1 4 5. And I can keep going back to the Husayni. Keep giving you that unresolved thing. Huge thanks to my Patreon supporters. The link for Patreon is below. I really appreciate your support. If you can afford these lessons to pay something, $10 a month, $15 a month, $6 a month, you'll also get free practice lessons. So check out that link below. Extra lessons in different keys. Thanks. Please like and subscribe. I'm really grateful for the community that's building around these lessons. You guys are totally awesome. Keep spreading the word. Keep learning through oral tradition. Keep doing call and response. Keep learning without notation. You guys are awesome. Let's end on an unresolved note. That's Husayni.